Hey guys, welcome back to the Goodfellow Podcast. I am your host, Joe Barone. We are live today. Listen, go to the Goodfellow Podcast Patreon channel. We got a lot of great stuff up there. And we also got the memorabilia and stuff like that with the shirts, the coffee mugs, and stuff like that. And now, once again, I'm going to bring back my friend, Louis Kasman. Louis, welcome back to the Goodfellow Podcast. And like I said, everybody, we are live. So send in your questions, give us the thumbs up, the likes, and let's go. Louis, welcome back, brother.
Okay, nice to be back, Joe. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Listen, we're going to show some pictures because I want to ask my viewers and stuff like that if they. I know who the people are, but I want to know if you can identify them for a lot of my fans out here and viewers and stuff like that. Like you're standing next to this gentleman. Who's that, Louis?
That's Pete Gotti. At that point in time, he was the acting boss. Some might say he was the boss. Not much of an acting and not much of a boss, but yeah, that's Uncle Pete, and he was incarcerated at the time.
Was he like I know John was more like a father figure with you, but I'm assuming I don't want to put words in your mouth. So what was Pete like to you when you say Uncle Pete? Was he like an uncle to you or no?
Well, I used to call him Uncle Pete, and he used to call me his nephew. But it was words. It was nothing
Yeah.
like the reality of his brother on any level. And he needed me, and to some extent, I needed him. So yeah, that was Uncle Pete. We were on a visit. He had trouble with his eye.
There's a lot of other. Oh, there's another picture of him too, as well. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's when he was first incarcerated, and
Okay.
yeah, and that's
See, in the street, we heard that he was only the acting boss. He never really was the boss. But I could be
he's,
wrong. You know what I mean?
no, you're right. He started out that way, and I think the sicker John got. You got to understand, Joe. When Pete would go on a visit, I wasn't physically there. I might have been in Springfield, but they weren't letting me in. So do I really know what John was telling him?
Yeah,
Does
yeah,
anybody
right.
on the street really know what John was telling him? So he could come out and say, "Yeah, my brother just said, I'm the boss now." But
Hmm.
there was no way to verify that, and so
Well,
who knows? I
you
mean,
know,
he was getting the money. I could tell you that.
well, yes, the money had to go somewheres. I mean, in the long time ago, they said John was making like $12 million a year. Is that like more accurate, you think, or is that like
I think it probably was a little bit more, but
okay?
somewhere's in those numbers. I know what I was taking in, and I know what Pete was bringing in, but I would say somewhere's 12, 13.
What?
Some days business was better than some years better than others.
So let me ask you a question. Then 12. What was he doing with all that money?
Well, he was a degenerate gambler, Joe. I
Mm,
mean, we had weekends, like I told you before, and I told the audience, we could be up 200,000. One
yep.
weekend, we were up like 250, and I said to Jackie Knows, I says we're up like 250, and I think that weekend we lost 100.
Well,
You
right.
know, he
But
he was he was a big gambler. That was John's vice, was gambling and
right.
helping everybody. So between helping people, between the lawyers and between him gambling. But the good thing, John and I had this thing going. Bruce would go on a visit. Bruce was the most underpaid attorney we had. These lawyers never got what they asked for. Do you think I was giving these lawyers what they were asking for? And they would
No.
go and they would go put a beef in. And John and I, we would just do. I'll talk to the kid. I don't know why I told him to give you that. But that was what we had going on, and
But did
you
you
know
ever
that.
notice that all these wise guys, a lot of them, they were degenerate gamblers? Did you ever notice that though? At
You,
everywhere,
yeah,
everywhere. Not, I knew a
you-
lot of guys from the Lucchese family, and of course, the Genovese family. A lot of them were degenerate gamblers.
degenerate gamblers, womanizers. John was not a womanizer.
Mm,
John was not a drug abuser, and John was not an alcoholic. A lot of these
mm.
bosses were all of those. On the down
Wow.
low,
Right.
drinkers. Listen, John did his thing. He had his couple of gumadas on the side, as they say. Did I say that word right, Joe? Gumadas?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Gumata, yeah. It's
gumata.
Gumata, yeah,
But,
yeah. You got it right.
you
You're
know,
almost you're half Italian now, right?
yeah. But, John was all about respect. So,
Yeah.
he didn't need a gumata on his arm to make him feel better. That wasn't his way. So, it was about the gambling, and the clothes. The clothes weren't even that important to him. People made more out of that. Again, that was what the media portrayed him. The Dapper Don, the Teflon Don.
Right,
Yeah, I
right.
mean, we spent a lot of money on clothes, but not to the degree that everybody thought. You
Yeah, they
know.
were saying, yeah, they said, yeah, exactly. But he still looked sharp. But he looked sharp no matter what he wore anyway, though.
Oh, listen,
Oh, look, my
always
girl's
look
doing
sharp.
something too.
That was his thing. Always had to look good.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. Well,
but
his
with
hair
him,
was always done. I mean, he looked sharp.
yeah.
So
But
we got to.
he wanted to feel good, and
Yeah,
how he felt good was being around the people that he really loved, and being around who he cared about. At
yeah.
the beginning, when he started to get successful, he wasn't the father of the year. That he definitely wasn't. But as time went by, Joe, he
Hmm.
became a much better father, a much better husband. He grew into that, and he learned from Tommy Gambino, because Tommy Gambino was an outstanding father and an
Wow,
outstanding spouse.
really?
Yeah, Tommy Gambino, on a scale of 10 when it came to being a parent and when it came to
Right.
being a spouse, Tommy was a 10 to a 12. And
Well,
John learned from him. And John,
wow.
we didn't have enough time, but John grew into that role. And Junior became a better son, and John became a better father to Junior through incarceration. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense what I'm saying to you?
100% it does, because something. There was a guy, Mike. He was a made guy. He was a soldier, uh, Anthony Donato, and he had a son who was. I don't know if he was some kind of cripple, something, whatever. I forget
Mm,
exactly what his. And he was an excellent father to that kid. And
mm,
sometimes a lot of people don't realize. And I even talk about my friend Dominic. He had when he had his daughter first. This guy Dominic, like, as you can see, I got a diamond watch on. Actually, this is a watch my girlfriend got me, and I see she made
right.
a comment. Love you too, Giovanna, always. And so she bought me this watch. But you want to know something? She Dominic was dressed up in his suit, whatever he is, a track suit. He had a diamond watch on. He changed his own daughter. He was a really loving father. And
Mm,
now I see why when you say that about John, I really believe that, because for some reason, in the street, you got to be tough in the street.
yep.
It's a cutthroat business. You've been around it. I don't have to tell you,
Mhm.
and you can't show any real emotions. You know what I mean? You really
No,
can't,
no. See,
and it's a shame.
with me, he would show it in different ways. But
Right.
with Junior, he never showed it. He never let his guard. And Junior, I have to say, Junior tried every which way to get his affection, to get his attention.
Mm.
And unfortunately, Junior had to wait till incarceration.
Wow.
Once John was locked up, then Junior started to bond more with his father.
Hmm.
You know, so
He
yeah,
looks
that's
like
how
he
that
was
went.
probably he looks like Junior. Junior. I only it's a couple of the videos I seen him with and everything, and I know he said he didn't talk to the FBI, and I did the 302s there was out there on him
Mm,
and stuff. But I'm not here to say anything or bash him. But seems to be like he would be like a good father himself too. I think he was missing that in his life, and he seems like he
what
would be a good father.
100%, Joe. What
Okay.
Junior was missing, he gave to his kids because he didn't
Yeah.
want them to grow up craving that love and affection all the time. And then
Hmm.
he looked, and in his mind, in Junior's mind, why was Lewis getting everything from my father and I wasn't?
Right. Right.
You know, and I had multiple conversations with his father about that. And back then, you got to understand, Junior was a wild kid growing up. When Junior was in his 20s and 30s, late 30s, he was wild,
Right.
and that's how he was trying to get John's attention, but that worked against him. But like I said, through incarceration, they became very, very close.
So my cousin George Patty was with the Lucchese guys. He was with this guy. They used to call him Joey Bacala.
Right.
And yeah, so he was from Harlem too. And but I used to hang around almost every day with my cousin George too.
Mm-hmm.
So his son was actually getting a little, he said to his father, and his father told me later on, he says, my son says, you're always taking Joseph with you all the time. Why don't you take me, Dad? And so I can understand why that is, like where he was with you and how he felt about you. I don't think it was a reflection of bad against, Junior, but
No, it wasn't.
yeah, I don't think it was that either. What happens in that life.
Mm-hmm.
But earlier, we'll just let everybody know we're going to be answering a lot of questions up here too. Just so you know, guys, we're going to try to get to everybody today. We're going to stay on a little bit longer if we can. You and I were talking about your daughter was on Mulberry Street. She was visiting down there, and do you, like, if John was around now, and things were different, how would you be like? Because you walked Mulberry Street with him when he was around anyway. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
tell
Multiple
us a little.
times.
Yeah, tell us about like how you were when you were with him out there, and like what it would be now, and like what do you miss
Well,
about that life? Like, because I have thoughts of it, like,
yeah.
regrets and certain things.
Well, my daughter Cassie said to me the other day. She says, "Dad, I think I want to go to Mulberry Street to the feast with her fiance Zach."
Mm.
So she said to me, she says, "What would it be like if John was here now? If John was home?
Mhm.
If John was alive?" So I said, "Cassie, you have no idea. It was off the wall. You couldn't. You would take 2 steps forward, and like you had to see grown men just, hey boss, hey chief, hey John, nice to see you. By the time we got 4 blocks down, I can't. It's indescribable of what it was like. Especially on
Mhm.
Mulberry Street.
Oh yeah.
Especially you'd have Jackie Nose. You had all the skippers around JoJo. So it was just be off the wall. He just people clamored to him. You know,
Yeah.
and not just Gambino guys. They talk
Mhm.
about Gigante. All Gigante's guys were clamoring to him.
Yeah,
Lucchese guy.
yeah.
I mean, all these guys. They just wanted to. He was the kind of guy you just wanted to be around. He had that magnetic attraction that he made you feel good.
Right, and
You
he had
felt
that
like
air about him.
he had that air about him, but never arrogant and never cocky. He was that same guy. I mean, you knew he was the boss, and
Right, yeah, right.
you know, like that saying goes, put two feet in one shoe. But he
Mhm.
just had that way. He was very magnanimous. He was very just a regular guy. You just wanted to be with him and be around him. And a boss, you don't have nobody's with you. You don't have guy associates are with you. I was the only. How that made me feel like I was the. He used to say to me, I'm a boss. Nobody's
Yeah.
with me except you.
Yeah, yeah. That's a big honor, bro. You see,
That's off the wall. That's off the hook to have that feeling and to
I
know it.
that's what I'm saying. A lot of people don't really grasp, because I was, in Dominic's company, I was with Vinny Gorgeous,
Mhm.
and I was around all these guys. A lot of people don't really realize what it is to be like us, and then of course what happened in our lives. That's why people judge us. They want to say things. I don't really care about that stuff. I know you don't as well, but
Mhm.
they never were us. They never walked and did the things we did. They didn't have the
Exactly.
they don't know. They don't get it. You know what I
Joe, could
mean?
you imagine getting the phone calls? I get up at 5 in the morning, be in the city, go to work, and by 3, 4 o'clock, I couldn't hold my head up no more. So
Yeah.
I had a driver, so I would, I'd say, come on, take me home, 4, 5 o'clock. 6 o'clock, we had the beepers. The beepers going off. It's
Yeah, yeah.
Jackie Knows. What are you doing? I said, Jack, what do you mean? I just got home. I can't even hold my head up. So he'd say, all right. He says, how quick can you get back to the city? He wants, you guys got to have dinner tonight. Get back, get dressed, go back into the city. he would say, what's the matter, Jew boy? You're tired? Did I wake you up? I said, no, you didn't wake me up, but you just started your day at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Come
I
on, we're
like
gonna eat.
Jackie.
Yeah,
But
Jackie was good.
Jackie was a good guy. Yeah, I
Yeah,
like.
he really was.
I met him a few times in MCC. You know, he was a nice guy.
Yeah, he was. I used to
You know,
call him Milty. I'd say, Milty, can't you tell him I'm tired? He said, I can tell him I'm tired. You're tired, but that's really
yeah,
not going to matter. So come on your own, or you're going to get the knock.
right. Yeah.
And you're going to have Tony and Vic are going to be at the door. So you're either going to come nice or you're going to come not so nice. So,
Right. Well, you see, I like all of this kind of content because I like that I feel like we're both reminiscing. You know.
But I wish I could get that knock in the door. I wish my beeper was still going off. I wish
I
I was
know.
going to see him in the city.
Yeah, the Greg De Palma, he was in, he was in the Gambino family too. Greg De Palma, I don't know if you knew him.
Yeah.
So my father used to meet him at this diner in Harlem, and so one time I don't know what they were.
The father or the son, Joe?
The father.
Oh.
So he used to go down there, and I don't know. He said, I'm tired of it, because that was with the beepers, and this is what made mine. He said my father had to meet him for whatever things they were doing,
and you had to have the roll of quarters in your pocket, Joe.
Yeah, for the phone booths.
To run to the phone booth, and God forbid you got there too late, and you didn't call back right away. You forget it.
And then we spent down. What about then later on when he had the burner phones? We had to spend. I don't know. We had to buy all these different burner phones, but. So Greg was complaining about that he was getting beeped all hours of the night and this and this and that. So my father says, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, Joe. He used to call my father. My father says, just shut the beeper off. That's it. And turn on in the morning. And he said, wow, I didn't even think of that, But you can't do that.
You can't.
That's supposed to do that. I know.
I had one beeper just dedicated to him. And then I had my other beeper. Just for like the phone in the office. I used to have the private number, 212-594-0053.
Wow.
That was the hotline. So when that phone rang, there was only one person calling on that phone.
Wow.
And then he had the hotline in his house, 718-832-8320.
So you see that? You still remember the numbers?
Isn't that crazy? 20 years later.
Yep. Because you were so used to it. Yeah. Yep. Now, you did a little time yourself. Am I right?
Correct.
Okay. So you were with a guy, he was in the same people I was around. He was in the Bonanno. He was an associate like me, Randy Pizzolo. You remember him?
Oh, how could I forget Randy? Randy was with everybody. He was with Quiet Dom. Then poor Randy was transferred, I think, to every family. All the 5 families in New York. Randy was with somebody.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how he came over to our crew, but he caused so much trouble, and he had Dominic, my friend, and he was my captain, and gave him saved him. I don't know how many times, but he just something was wrong with him.
Yeah,
before
Jackie knows his uncle. No,
okay.
I'm sorry. Randy's uncle was with Jackie knows. So I get to the camp, and Randy's waiting for me. And he had all this stuff for me. He was great. He hooked me up with everything. And I was in unit 1. He was in unit 2, thank God. And it didn't help though, because every time I rolled over, every time I looked, there was Randy Pizzolo. Wow. And at the beginning, it was nice. I have to say, he made sure he took me to dinner, whatever. And I never went to dinner, but at the beginning, and he was good. And what happened was Tony Megale, one of Tony Megale's guy, Victor Riccitelli, bookmaker. I think he's deceased now. And he was there. And then, everybody in unit 1, I had no problems. I didn't need nothing from nobody. I was a gentleman with everybody. Every time I turned around, there was Randy. And Randy was loud and he was noisy and nobody liked him.
Wow, really?
Yeah, everybody hated Randy. There weren't a lot of gangsters there, but whoever was there didn't like him. And I say, Randy, you're short now, and I came in short, and I'm getting shorter. Can't you just disappear, be quiet? Couldn't do that. So it got really bad in there, and he was calling his uncle because I wasn't paying any attention to him. and it was bothering him. So I get a visit from one of the lawyers, Mike Rosen, who's now deceased as well. Mike says, Lewis, what's with this Pizzola? I said, Mike, did you come up here to talk to me about Randy Pizzola?
Really?
So Randy was on the phone screaming all the time. He don't pay attention to me. He's ignoring me. And the guys would come back and tell me, Lewis, he's on the phone crying to his uncle. So I get a message to Pete, Uncle Pete. I says, he says, my uncle's giving Jackie Knows $500 a month. I says, what does that got to do with me? I said, if your uncle's being shaken down by him or extorted by him, he had a body shop in Queens. I got nothing to do with that.
Right.
He says, but you're not paying attention to me. And my uncle's, with Jackie Knows. I says, but that has nothing to do with me. I have 7 months to do. Randy, you're almost done. Can't you just like be a man and just finish it up? Let's just wrap it up.
Right.
And everybody was abusing him now. And I try to keep the peace. And I made everybody leave him alone. But he was so out of order. So it just became. Go ahead.
He Lewis, the same thing with us. He just wouldn't listen. He wouldn't listen. And he got more chances than what he really deserved. And then finally
that's what happened in Lewisburg.
Yep.
I was getting from Herbie Sperling from behind the wall. Everybody was, what's up with this guy?
Right.
And then, and of course, everybody, because of John Sr., everybody was making a fuss over me. I didn't ask for it, but they were just doing what they had to do, I suppose. And, Dominick's in the queue. Dominick Cicale's here.
Is he? I didn't see him. Where is he?
Yeah. What's up, brother? Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Dominic? Everybody, don't forget about Dominic Cicale, the Mafia Roundtable, and Cicale's Corner Unfiltered. Hey, Dominic, you had a really good show. I saw it with the Candace Owens, and it was really good advice for a lot of people.
In fact, I caught that show, and I have to say it was a good show. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Lewis. Yeah, appreciate that. Thanks, Dominic. Love you, brother.
I wonder does Dominic miss Randy?
I sincerely doubt it.
Oh,
I sincerely doubt it.
So the long and short of the story with Pizzola is they were abusing. Now they started to abuse him. They were peeing in his bed. They were throwing sauce on his bed. They were killing him. And
wow.
I try to get it under control. And what happened was there was no control. This Randy was just out of control. So he goes to the lieutenant who happened to like me. And the lieutenant says, this guy wants me to bring the FBI in because he's being abused. So a few days go by and the Latin Kings go after him. And they broke his arm and they broke his nose.
Randy.
Pizzola.
Wow.
So Pizzola reaches out again through the Lieutenant LaRue, and he files a complaint against me with the BOP, and then he wants to meet with the FBI that I made the Mambo Kings, the Hispanics, what they call them, the Latin Kings, go after him.
Yeah, you didn't do that.
Not true.
Yeah, you wouldn't have did that.
Although the Latin Kings, they used to cook for me, whatever I wanted. I used to tell them, leave him alone. It's not important enough. Leave him alone. But he was abusing them in that unit. So,
like I said, he didn't listen. And he had more chances than what he.
100 chances.
Yeah.
And I used to make sure Sunday we used to have linguine and clam sauce. And even the Italians, they didn't want to cook for him.
Wow.
I'd say, do me a favor. You're going to cook for him. This guy from Arthur Avenue, an associate in the Genovese family. He says that he's no good. He's a scumbag. I said, whatever he is, but you got to, for me, do it. And they did it. It was never enough. It was at Lewisburg, Dominic.
Okay. Yeah. Show that again. I didn't see that. Oh, you saw Lewis. Okay.
Yeah,
Lewis, where is this at? Okay.
The Lewisburg prison camp.
I was going to say Cuomo.
Yeah. Cuomo. Cuomo. Yeah.
Get on the show, Dom. Okay, oh, yeah, that's true. You want to come on in, Dominic? You're always welcome.
Yeah, but Dominic, if you come on, Joe Barone's running the show. You're not a captain no more. Joe Barone's gonna become a captain, and I'm gonna become the underboss when you're on the show.
So you want listen? I also want to tell you about Johnny, my friend Johnny Atuso. I met him in Milan, Michigan. His father, Vinny, was supposed to be in on the Paul Castellano hit at that time too.
But his gun jammed.
Well, yeah, I never believed that even when they said it out there. But yeah, exactly. I heard that story.
He wanted to go in business with me when I opened up Campagnola in Florida. Vinny used to come around because Vinny was in charge from Florida for the Gambino family. That's how I meet Vinny. Could you imagine? I meet him. He says, I'm the captain in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Why would he even say that to me? I knew, or I wouldn't go to meet him.
Right.
Because Arnold Squateri says, the guy wants to meet you. So it's a courtesy. So I went and met him for breakfast, and I liked him. We had a good guy.
Right.
And
I heard, I don't know if I think I knew Arnold Squateri. I think I knew him myself too, because I know he's well known.
He was very close to John, and he wound up to be one of the bosses, acting bosses.
It could have been that I just heard it because I heard that name before. Hey, listen, let's take a couple more questions, Louis. Is that all right?
Yeah, of course.
Because you know why we'll get so jammed up with all the questions. I don't want. Yeah. I'm trying not to leave anybody out. You know what I mean?
All right.
Can you blow that up for me again? Because I can't read it. Louis, maybe
I'll read it. Question for both you, Joe, and Louis. What are your thoughts on former made guys and associates getting involved in issues in the public eye?
It says, former made guys. Well, I tend to like that, to be honest with you, unless you want to take it, Louis, first. But if you want me to take it first, I think it's phenomenal, and I'm going to tell you why on a couple of things. First of all, a wise guy, an associate like myself, or even a wise guy, former wise guy, knows the ins and outs, knows the corruption, knows the legitimate ways.
They could speak more candidly.
Yes, damn, that's nice. I like the way you put it. Yeah, speak more candidly. What's the matter? Anything else? Oh, wait, hold on a minute. Wait a minute.
This is by invitation only, Captain Cicale.
Oh, we got to stop that question, guys. Here's my brother Dominic Cicale, Mafia Roundtable.
Louis, I have to show you something.
Go ahead. Oh my God.
That's what I just ate.
I used to try and give that to Pizzola. He complained about that too. But you were blessed. You had the blessing to take care of Pizzola.
Oh, no. Yeah, right. The blessing on my shoulder.
Oh, my God. Dominic, what was wrong with him?
I don't know. I think it was the sniffing, the coke.
I was telling that to Louis earlier.
7 months to do. I mean, he was great when I got there, Dominic. He looked out. He did everything.
Right.
But I had to pay. It was like my girlfriend. Every time I turned around, there was Randy.
Yeah. No, he's great from the beginning, likable guy, but when he gets comfortable, he goes off the charts.
But as I was saying too earlier, Dominic, how many chances did you give? You helped him, like you tried to save him.
I saved his life the first time.
Mm-hmm.
You know why I got close to him? He just had a newborn. I met his daughter who was older. She got married. Like, I have compassion with the family. And I knew the outcome would be disastrous for his family.
Yeah.
Right.
He was, and when we were there, like I did everything for him. I nobody bothered him. But he was so disrespectful to everybody. And he was jealous. He was like a jealous kind of guy, Dominic.
Agreed. He felt he deserved to have a title.
Like Herbie Sperling, everybody would send stuff over from behind the wall, Mark Wright, everybody. And they always included him. I said, please, just include him, because he would get but it was out of control. Then he went to Lieutenant LaRue to file charges. Then he went to the FBI to file charges. So they sent me the complaints, and I gave them to Jackie Nose. I says, here, this is Pizzola.
Right.
And
but wasn't he tough a little bit? But wasn't Randy tough in his own way, though, or no?
tough around Dominic. He was tough. Put him alone, he was tough.
You know what? I heard he did stupid things, but when he did them, he was high. So to me, that's false courage.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was going to all the strip clubs all over.
Yeah. Right.
And you must have got a ton of beats because people used to tell me his behavior.
Well, even Dominic asked him, says, "Listen, you want to try yourself, right, Dominic? You said you were there. You told him, put your hands up, whatever you got to do, and let's get this over with." And he didn't want nothing.
No, I brought it to his attention quite a few times.
Yes.
Especially when he, I told him, let's just step outside, forget who I am. I'm on your level, and let's go. He wouldn't do it.
Mm-hmm. See what I mean? That's why I said I'm glad you tuned in.
Yeah, because I never hid behind the title. That wasn't me. I could give a shit about a title.
But he was a handful, Dominic. It was like babysitting.
A lot of people were a handful out there.
Oh yeah,
we had a lot of handfuls.
Well, don't forget too, Dominic, you were a boss. Really, you were a captain, so you're the boss. And the bottom line is, you had over 20-something guys in the crew.
Yeah, but Joe, you know it firsthand. I always treated everybody like they were my equal.
Yes.
I was always the first one to pick up a check. I wouldn't let anybody pay. And you tell me what skipper does that. Usually
they're waiting for the other guys to pick it up.
Yeah, no, I you know what? I remember one time with Joey Gambini because he would always go in his pocket. I had an argument with him. I'm like, I told you, do not pay. He went behind my back, pick up the check. I was upset. I just didn't like it. You know what? I like treating my guys. I like stepping up to.
You know why? Because when you picked up the check, they told 20 guys. We went out with Dominic. Would you believe he let me pick up the check?
Well,
that's a rarity.
Even when we went out to the strip bars too, I didn't have to worry about money. I didn't have to worry about drinks. And every time I used to come back to the table or something, if we were in a restaurant, I said, Dominic, and you went like this because you already went when you got up to go to the bathroom. You already saw the people, and that's what you used to do all the time. I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
You remember I told you the time I went to Jojo Carrazzo had a crap game in Little Italy. So
yes, I tell Dominic.
Yeah, so I used to love the craps. I used to go to Atlantic City. And don't ask me how. He used to find out. John, you used to find out. I said,
they always do.
He said, what'd you do last night, you boy? I said, no, I was relaxing. He said, you were in Atlantic City, you liar. Because I'd run into Danny Marino. And I used to tell him, please don't tell him. But as soon as I said don't, they had to tell him. So
you know that.
You know that. So I go to the crap game. And, of course, I lose. So the next day, and no, they wouldn't take any money from me. So the next day, he says, what'd you do the weekend? I said, I just hung out, relaxed. He said, what'd you do Friday night? I says, he said, I know where you were Friday night and you lost. So I said, yeah. He says, all right. He says, just so you know, he says, it was my game. Oh, I says, I didn't know that, but I knew if it was JoJo's game, it had to be his game because JoJo and him did everything together.
Yeah.
I said, so what about the debt? He said, well, you don't think there's a debt, do you? I said, no, I don't think so. So I saved $10,000 that night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dominic, you brought up a lot of good points on your show tonight, man. They were excellent points. I really and Lewis was saying too that he caught some of the show tonight. I tell you the truth, I was really glad to see that if we could, because things are very heated.
Yeah.
And if anybody knows about heat, it's us. I mean, you know how fast, we know how fast things can turn in a split second, things can jump off. And I looked at a lot of the videos that you mentioned about Cory Booker and the guy who's running the FBI now and all of this stuff, and the argument, the fighting that's going on in politics today. It's crazy.
No, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. We're definitely headed for a civil war.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see where Capisi reported that they dismantled the
Gambino
squad? Yeah.
Yep. So you said that last week, I think, Lewis.
I told you that.
Yeah, you said that last week. Yeah. Well,
from 200 guys in C16 at its peak, I think they're down to 4.
You know what? And I hate to say this, the America is better off with organized crime than what's going on nowadays.
100%.
Without a doubt.
And it's sad. It's sad.
Yeah.
I
And with
mean,
Trump
this
in
kid
there,
Charlie.
he would have never went after the wise guys.
No, this kid Charlie
Trump loves
Kirk
the
that
wise
got killed.
guys.
It's disgusting because there was a group behind this, without a doubt.
Oh
course.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, this dumb kid, he wasn't capable of like he was almost like the Patsy and the John F. Kennedy thing when they said the what's that guy, Lewis, that
Oswald?
Oswald wasn't really
No.
yeah, he was a Patsy.
Come on.
Listen, I said tonight on my show, I wouldn't be surprised if the kid they have in custody happens to hang himself or commit suicide.
Like Epstein.
It's just
Like Epstein.
yeah.
And the day that he hung himself, Bill Barr, then the Attorney General, was in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wasn't that
exactly.
convenient?
Yeah.
How do you hang? Did you ever do time in the MCC, Dominic?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay.
We all
So,
did.
10 South, 9 South. How do you hang yourself?
Yeah. No, you can't. No.
Nope. And
Right.
this is
And listen, at nighttime they're supposed to do a count every hour.
that's right.
He was in a
There's two
special
cops.
unit. Where were the
Mhm.
cameras?
Yeah, exactly. And it's
This
funny
is-
how the cameras weren't working that
They
night.
weren't working, and the guards weren't working.
No,
Yeah, sleeping.
the two of them fell asleep.
They
Yeah,
were
yeah,
resting.
okay.
But wait, I'll give you one better. After midnight, every hour, they have to call control, so control knows they're awake.
That's right.
So how
Where
is
was
it
that?
possible?
Where was that?
Oh, that I didn't know that. That I
yeah.
didn't know.
Check
well-
in.
Yeah, they have to call every hour to make sure they're up.
Wow.
Yep. Hey,
Wow.
control. This is 9 South. Just verifying everything's cool.
Yeah,
Copacetic. Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, this is why we had gotten a question earlier, Dominic, just before you logged in, and it said, what do you think of like guys like us, giving our opinion about what's going on? And here it is right there for the both of you. They asked Lewis and myself, what are your thoughts about former May guys and associates involved in issues in the public eye? I thought it was phenomenal because we know the ins and outs, and we could speak more candidly, as Lewis so articulately said.
Right.
Look, even Michael Francis, and I know you were with him recently. He said a lot of stuff about politics too, and he's right on the money. He even met with Bill Maher, I think, didn't he?
Yeah,
He
no,
was
he
very
sat down
involved
with Bill Maher.
politically.
Yeah, and I got to say something. Bill Maher, to be honest with you, I saw him when he had his very first show long time ago. I forget what it was called. It was a good show. I watched it, but then when he got on HBO, and I started not really liking what he was talking about, but now for some reason he came like he makes a lot of sense, and he had a meeting with Donald Trump. He said, let me tell you something, I talked better with Donald Trump than I could have been talked with Obama, and I voted for Obama.
Right. No, I
Because
saw
Donald-
that.
Yeah, and Trump is a real guy. Let's face it. Everybody said that the people who were higher ups didn't really care for Trump. The people in the pit was it. It was like you, Dominic.
You know why they didn't care for Trump? They were scared of Trump.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
They still are.
Yeah.
And they still
thank
are.
you.
Exactly
Yep.
right. They're scared
But
of Trump.
I'm disappointed in him because he should be on top of this with his Charlie Kirk. Him out of anybody should realize like a 30-06 should have taken his neck off.
Right. I've shot a
And that
30-06.
little wound.
No, I shot a 30-06 when
But
I was a
they
kid. I was
said
about
tonight
14.
They didn't transport him in an ambulance.
They put him in the security put him
van.
in there. Yeah, right.
Wow.
So there was no life
But he-
support there.
But Lewis, if you see the shot, all that blood that came out, he was dead within 30 seconds. He
Oh, without
bled
a
out.
doubt.
He bled out.
Yeah.
There's no way he didn't.
Listen, do you
No.
think the guy acted alone that shot Trump?
No.
No way.
Oh,
No.
hell no.
No way.
No.
Where was the Secret Service? Their radios didn't work.
Something
their
is
phones
definitely
didn't
going.
work.
Something's definitely going on behind the scenes, and they're not making us aware of it because maybe the ongoing investigation. They want to round everybody up. There's a bigger picture behind all this.
Oh, there has to
Absolutely.
be. It has to be. Listen, look how much stuff they uncovered years later with the Kennedy thing.
Yeah. No, I believe there's a coup trying to take over, trying to knock everything down, and they're succeeding right now. They're definitely succeeding.
Yeah.
Well, listen, there's been a lot of, as you can see, look at all the stuff that came out later on. And, listen, I'm like you, Dominic. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm somebody who just uses their own common sense like yourself. And I don't ever ask you about your politics, Louis, but the bottom line is like this. The same thing, you understand when you look what they did with Donald Trump with the Russian, who's that? Is that Maddie?
Look.
Hey, is that...
Mr. Joe, how you doing?
Hey, good Gene, chi sta facendo? Va bene. Menza, you know what I mean?
Dominic, you got a club there?
Yeah.
No, it's my friend's restaurant.
Oh.
We was in the restaurant and both of us was singing. Dominic introduced me to him and both of us was singing O Solo Me in the restaurant.
That's nice.
That's what I mean, yeah.
You remember, Paisan?
Yeah, sure.
That's good stuff.
And he's what a chef this guy is too. Oh, Maron,
Right.
we ate. Oh, we had a nice spread, and Dominic with the bottles of wine, and of course I didn't pick up the check either, and I was happy about that too.
Perfect.
You guys gonna be famous?
No, you're gonna be famous.
All right, it's about time.
Yo,
right?
the next time you go, I'm gonna meet you there.
It's about
You
time.
better,
Absolutely.
Louis.
Come on down, Louis. Come on
See
down.
that?
It'd be my pleasure.
You
I
got
would
the
like that.
invitation from the guy.
It'd be
And
my pleasure.
We're gonna do a
Thank
little
you,
solo
thank
me.
Wait a second.
Oh, sole mio, strano fronte. But we'll do it again, though, for sure. When I come back
Very
down,
nice,
Dominic.
Very nice.
Listen, Louis,
Thank
we're
you.
doing a Thanksgiving. I'm having people from my podcast to come down. I'm flying people down. You're welcome to join us
Oh, thank you
for
so much.
Thanksgiving.
I'll definitely take you up on that.
Buonasera, grazie.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
So,
Yeah, that was good. Okay, here we got another chat. Timothy O'Reilly. Oh, wow, he's hit you. Hey, thanks, Tim. Appreciate it. Hit that like button.
Timothy, thank you.
Oh my God, this is great. This is a great unexpected pleasure.
Yeah, no,
Who's that?
listen, I'm sitting by myself. Maddie's in Boston. I had my meal and I'm scouring. I see Goodfellow Podcast live. Boop.
There you go. Thank you. Yeah, that was good. That's a good surprise. I like that, Dominic.
Yeah.
And thanks for the donation, Tim. Appreciate that.
Yeah, Timothy's a good guy.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Joy. Okay, Joy. I can't see it all. I wish the Mafia was running the world. If it was, I would have been in it too then.
You know
You know
what?
what?
I'd
I'd rather be in with the devil I know. What's that, Louis?
John Gotti used to say that all the time. They're all going to miss it when nobody's around anymore.
You're right.
Dominic, you said that a long time ago when you first was gonna when your first book came out or something. I remember that saying that you said, "Better the devil I know."
Yeah,
That's right.
I'd rather deal with the devil we know.
Well, like I said before, the reason why I started the whole Goodfellow podcast was because I was totally disrespected and put my life in danger, and the FBI threw me not under the bus, but forget about it. They didn't throw me to the wolves. They threw me to the whole jungle. What they did to me, and this is the reason why I started it. And I'm one guy, and I'm not the first guy that's ever done it. If you guys know what's his name, that Louis, you remember Willie Boy. Okay, he didn't want to cooperate. He didn't want to take the stand against John, even though he was cooperating and giving information. But then
Diane Jack alone, the prosecutor in that case, she murdered him. She outed him, and they didn't offer him protection. Although
that's what I'm saying.
They claim he refused it. They could have locked him up. Okay, because they could do anything they want.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. And Dominic knows too. They threw Dominic in the worst, in the worse than the whole.
Well, John always used to say it. He says, we're bad. John used to say it. We're bad. They're worse.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
And that's why I said, this is the reason why I started it. I had a $20 million lawsuit against the FBI. And of course, in summary judgment, they knocked it down. Why? You know why they really knocked it down? Because if I would have told my story in front of the jury, because I already won my murder trial, so I would have definitely won the other trial that I was suing for. So come on. Horrible.
They fuck at the end of the day, they suck your blood. when there's no more to take, Dominic, they destroy you. But see, I had a great judge, Dominic.
Yeah.
Did you have Garifas?
Yes.
Okay. When they started to fuck with me, I called him up in his chambers. I says, I need your help. He said, what's going on, Lewis? God love me. I told him everything. He says, you know what? We're going to have a sit down. Just like that on the phone. He says, I'm calling it Jerry Conrad, who was then the SAC. I'm calling in the U.S. attorney. He says, and I want to know every promise they made to you. I want to know, and I'm going to have you on the phone.
Wow.
He put them all in check. Garifas, Nicholas Garifas.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember when Judge Garifas did say, though, he wasn't afraid when there was a supposedly hit on his life. He said he wasn't afraid. I said, yeah, I don't know about that. But wait, we got another comment from Stepper. Okay, I can't really see that. Another question. It's okay.
Oh, for both of you, what era of the families do you consider the best, Dominic?
The eras?
What the eras of the family?
The era of the time. I would say, of course, the Gambino family during the Gotti's reign, during John's reign.
Right. I would say probably 90s, 80s,
Where
90s.
Where were you when John was the boss?
In jail.
You were in jail. But you know, John and Joe Messina were very close.
Oh, yes, very close.
Joe didn't make a move without John.
You know what? There's going to be information coming out because while Joe was away, John got close with Sal Vitale. So I have a lot of information from an inside source over there, too, that I didn't even release any of it yet. So I gave the guy my word, or girl.
So you never met John?
No, never met him.
You would have loved him. He was.
No, I heard a lot about him. You mentioned Arnold Squitieri. I was with Arnold and Funzie.
Yeah.
Arnold used to drive for John. Used to be John's driver.
Yep.
And they loved him. They loved John. Like, he was just larger than life. His personality, everybody wanted to be around him, the persona.
Exactly. That's what I was telling Joe. What was it like to walk Little Italy with John Gotti Sr.? It was it was off the wall. You know,
I like that, yeah.
And you know, when everybody says, Chin, this family, that family wanted to kill him. Where were they, Dominic? Why did they kill him?
You know what? Everybody likes to be a Monday morning quarterback, myself included, because if I was out there in John Gotti's heyday, of course, I would want to be with him. Yet everybody acts, even myself included, will say he destroyed the life. Yeah, because it's Monday morning quarterbacking, but I would have been there with him just to be in the limelight. That's the way it is.
Exactly right.
So,
and you know what? When they say that, what did he destroy? That was the 80s. That's what he wanted. That's what the people wanted. And that's what all the wise guys wanted. How come everybody was emulating him, Dominic?
Yeah, no.
Everybody. Yep. And that's why I said, I don't care that, you know something, here's a guy who could have died in the street at any time if they were really going to get him. He knew he was probably going to go to jail for life. He figured, hey, you know something? I'm going to do what I want to do. And
you know, Joe,
no, he was the ultimate gangster. He did what he had to do, took Paul out. Listen, even though he knew it was wrong, he's like, either way, I'm dead. Because if Paul hears those tapes, I'm dead. So you know what? Let me take him out. I'll be the boss, and that's it.
Do you realize what it took to do what he did, Dominic?
Oh, what he did was just, it's unprecedented. Gotta give it to him.
Yeah,
gotta give it to him.
Well, didn't Lucky Luciano back in the days have to take out the two bosses that time? Back in his days, Lucky.
Yeah, but Lucky was the boss too himself, so it's a different scenario.
Yeah, it was a boss totally on different. Boss.
Right.
But you remember Neil Delacroce? That was John's guy.
Yeah.
Neil loved that.
And that was the power. That was the hidden power.
Neil was the whole power. Paul didn't want to. Paul wouldn't talk to a Joe Barone or a Louis Kasman or a
Dominick Cicale.
Nobody. He was too big. He was hanging out with Frank Perdue.
Right.
Do you know the wealth this man had?
Oh, no, I know. I've heard.
Okay, let's see. We got Pete Bryan here. The FBI was on a mission. Gotti didn't destroy La Cosa Nostra.
Yeah, I could agree with that. They were on a mission.
I like that, Pete. You're right on the money.
It was get Gotti at any cost.
Well, of course, they didn't care.
They didn't care.
The end justifies the means for them. They don't care.
Because
The FBI.
after every case, it was more and more publicized.
That's right.
So they kept on getting egg on their face. So of course they're gonna,
The Teflon Don, all that
being
bullshit.
vindictive. It's a vendetta.
Where were all these agents couldn't make a living? Where are all these agents now? They're dead, retired, or assigned to the what squad now? The
Well, I know
Patel squad?
a lot of them went to terrorism squads.
Well, that's where they put them because that's what. Yeah.
Right.
Throw another one up if you want. There's some more because we got a lot of comments out here. I don't want to keep missing them. I'm glad you're on too, Dominic. You can answer some of these as well.
No, you're the boss here tonight.
Oh yeah, you heard that one from Lewis, right?
What I told you that, Joe. You're the boss.
That's
You're the boss.
Could we, Dominic? Could we promote him tonight? Can we make him? Can you make him a captain tonight?
He's the boss. He has to promote us.
Oh, all right. What group is the worst of the mob? Or what's worse, the mob or the government? My opinion.
The government by sure. They're more powerful than the mob because they have unlimited resources.
That's right.
They got half the people that don't understand. Listen, Ronald Reagan said it the best. Somebody who's conservative doesn't want government in your life. Okay, that's the whole thing. You want less government and do things more on your own. And the bottom line is the wise guys. You could always tell. That's why, look, I couldn't lie to Dominic. And Dominic would have saw right through me. The only thing he didn't know about that I was working for the government. Other than that, how could he? I was going to fight by his side any second he asked me to. Right, Dominic?
No, you had.
Yep,
Well, you had no choice because you had to keep it going.
Well, that's true. That's true
You
as
had
well.
no
But
choice.
Louis, he could have given me up. He could have said Dominic's getting ready to shoot hippie. He has the and he never did.
That's true. There's a lot of, but you know what? If we could do the look back, do you realize how many confidential informants they have?
Oh, I can only imagine. Nowadays?
Yeah, forget about it. And no one was going to put even though Dominic can defend himself, we all know this, I wasn't going to let nobody put their hands on him. Maybe we have to go through me first. And Dominic knows. But wait, we got East Side Kid. All right. Lewis, this is for you. Lewis, rank the Gotti crew from the sharpest to the dumbest.
Well, I have to say John's crew, they were pretty sharp. When Angelo was on the street, when Jeannie was on the street, that was that was definitely a sharp crew.
And Gene, you're talking about his brother Gene, right?
Yeah, but the problem is back then with Angelo on the phone all the time, and that's where to what you said, Dominic, that's where the tapes come from.
Yeah, his daughter's phone, actually.
Yeah, that Princess phone in the house. He thought that wasn't bugged because it was under the daughter's name.
Yep.
That's when you have a false sense of security.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, John used to drive them crazy. John, there wasn't a lot of money then. They had to make money to pay John's gambling debts.
Yeah, exactly. I heard about that too.
What's this?
Oh, okay.
Hippo character flips and does a V sign with his hand while the word victory appears in the background.
I think that's supposed to be a sticker on YouTube.
What did they say, Joe?
It's supposed to be. It says super sticker. He says hippo character flips around and does a V sign with his hands while the word victory appears in the background. I guess it's supposed to be a sticker and we can't see it.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see about another one. We'll get another couple up here too. Somebody else donated something too? Okay. Because we'll make sure, we got to thank everybody out
donations. You make sure the envelope goes to Dominic after the show.
No.
You know what happens if you get caught with your hand in the till? You get one warning and then you get whacked.
Listen, I was just with Dominic in Florida. I couldn't have to put my hand in my pocket once. Okay?
No, but you did.
Yeah, that's right.
You snuck one in.
Yeah, I tried.
Yeah.
Did any of you guys? This is by Sam. Did any one of you guys and Sam Arjo?
Did you know Sam Agro from the Genovese family, who was originally from Buffalo? I never knew him. No. We got to remember we kind of stuck around the New York Bronx area. That was our area. What another one? Yeah, just keep shooting them up there because we got a lot of comments here. Hey, Dominic, do you ever think Ronnie One Arm will ever be the boss?
No. No,
Never.
absolutely not.
No, never.
I spent time with him in MDC. Nice guy, MDC Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Nice guy, but no, I think he's past his prime, and I think he sees the handwriting on the wall right now.
And especially his son, they shelved his son.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't think.
Dominic, we got a question from Marco too. Hold on one second, Louis. I'm sorry to cut you off. I didn't.
Go
mean
ahead,
that.
read it.
Dom, do you know Tommy Poli?
Yeah, Poli.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't know
Yes,
who that
I know
is.
Tommy Poli very well. He's around the Genovese. I don't know if he ever got straightened out, but I know him through my father.
Oh, okay.
Growing up, yeah. That was.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember Spot, his brother.
No.
Okay. There's Spot, Craze. That they actually called Tommy Craze. That was his nickname.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know them.
Yeah.
Okay, Louis, this is for you. G Sippy, Shippy. Louis, someone just asked, do you know Vinny Gotti?
Yeah, Vinny Gotti obviously is John's brother. He's a made guy. But you gotta remember when John was the boss, Richie, Vinny, all those guys, John used to keep them on the side. John didn't have too much respect for his brothers.
Oh, okay.
Including
Joe,
people.
I gotta start going. Excuse me, gentlemen.
Yeah, that's all right. What do you want to say? Anything else, Dominic? Anything you want to announce or anything?
No, much love, respect to you guys. Louis, it's a pleasure meeting you, and hopefully we'll get to meet each other in person.
Definitely for Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Dominic, love you, brother. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate the surprise.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
See you soon. Okay.
That was a good surprise, right?
Yeah. I'm glad he came on. That was really nice. I like that.
You see, you don't know a person until you know a person.
That's
you get my point?
100%. Okay, what do we got here? Let's see. This is for Louis. Oh, Louis, was John? It's Jody. Okay. Louis, was John Sr. a racist? He made some bad remarks about African Americans.
Okay. You're referring to the tape conversation in Marion where his grandson tells him he wants to become a basketball player. Okay. And John says something off color. You got to understand, when a man is locked up 24/7, literally, okay, and he finally gets a visit, he's hostile, he's angry, and he did say something off color, but that wasn't the real John. That was the John trying to make a point to his grandson that all these ball players, who's on steroids, who's doing this and who's doing that, et cetera, et cetera. So that's not really John's way. No, I never found John to be a racist in my company. And I don't know him really to be a racist. No.
Good question.
That was his frustration.
Okay. CarmineSmash, super chat. Oh, great show. Hey, Joe, don't cut it short. Thanks, Carmine. I appreciate it. And thanks for the donation and all of that, too. Appreciate it. Thanks so much. Yeah, we're going to just keep it rolling. It's very comfortable here.
Yeah, was Vinny Gotti a tough guy? All the Gotti brothers are tough guys. That I have to say. Jeannie being the toughest, but no one was as tough as John.
Okay.
John, legitimate tough guy.
I met Gene when I told you when I was in Reno, Oklahoma, in transit, and he had dark hair then too. He's like probably got white hair now, but yeah, he did a lot. He did a lot of years too. Gene.
A lot of years.
Like a man, he did it too.
Yeah, good guy.
Yep. What else we got there? Let's see. Okay. I can't even read it. You want to read that one, Louis? I can't see him as good.
It's Bueno Dominica, everyone. Permesso to enter the chat. Yes, you have permission. Come on in.
Sure. Bravissimo. Okay, this is Harry. Louis, this is for you. Louis, what do you miss most about John? That's a really good question, Harry.
Good question. I miss his personality. I miss who he is. I miss him being so devoted to me and just being the person that he was. I loved the man to death. If from my point of view, that was my father. I knew no one else, and I felt safe with him. He protected me. He gave me great advice. And no matter who I was, what I did, he had my back 24/7, and I had his back 24/7.
You probably missed the sound of his voice too.
Yep. Well, you know what?
I mean?
When I want to hear his voice, Joe, it's funny you should say that.
Okay.
And this is just how much I love the man. I would go and listen to his tapes.
Wow, just to hear him, yeah.
Just to hear him again. Yeah.
Wow.
And there isn't a day that goes by that I don't think of him.
Wow, I'm sure. Yeah. Listen, I know that's it. It's tough. Dave in Pittsburgh. Hey, Lewis, any good Frankie DeCicco stories?
He was very loyal to John, that I'll say, but I didn't really have any personal entanglement with Frankie DeCicco.
Okay. Well, that's good, but that's all right though. That loyalty right there says a lot about Frankie.
Yeah.
What else we got there? We got another comment, another question or at all?
Yeah. Oh, here's one. Okay.
Go
Momo. John Sadowski about Tony Muscatel. Hey, how is this for Lewis? It was really for Dominic. Do you know Tony Muscatello, not the Tony who was with John in the 80s? No, I know Tony Musk, who was around John. He was like the go-to guy for the whole Gotti crew, get insurance, do the seating arrangements and all stuff like that. And he's in jail. He was the guy they allege killed that guy who owned the gambling ship here in Florida and Miami Subs. That's the Tony Musk I knew.
Okay.
And he was abandoned by the Gambino family. I was sending him commissary. Yeah. I was sending him commissary.
Okay.
Tony Muscatello.
Well, we got a lot of checks and stuff from that you sent to us over here at the Goodfellow Podcast, stuff that I was going to ask you about too. Some cards that you got there.
Sure.
Can we put one of those up or? Okay. What is this? What is this one for, Lois? Can you see that one?
Yeah, this was to Papa Vera funeral. This was for John's funeral. Richie Gotti got the money from Pete, and Richie robbed the money. So I wrote a check. Richie never reimbursed me.
Wow, 40 grand. Well, that's all right. You love John anyway, so
exactly. I don't care.
Yeah. What's this one here? This one says, what's this one about now?
This is to Jerry Shargell. He was one of the attorneys, and this was
the guy with the shaved head.
No, that was Cutler. This was
that was Cutler.
Yeah, this was Shargell. I gave $25,000 to.
Okay. What else we got there? Oh, it's better to live once. Oh, yeah. Well, that's a good old saying. It's better to live one day as a lion than 100 years like a lamb. John Gotti. Yeah, the guy who originally said that was, I believe, Mussolini.
Correct.
Yeah.
And John used to read up on him.
Yeah. Right. Yep. That's all right. It sounds better in Italian, but I don't know how to say it in Italian.
And he used to say it in Italian.
Yeah. I like that. Marco, this one is for you, Lewis. Hey, Lewis, if you ran into Gene Gotti, would he say hello to you?
You know what? I don't know. I think, Jeannie has a lot of, even before my situation with the government, Jeannie was a little annoyed with me because I never went to see him, but I never went to see him because John wouldn't permit me to go see him. I wanted to go see him twice. Jeannie put me on his list. And when I was getting ready and I told John, he said, there's no reason for you to go see Jeannie. And he was only doing that to protect me because he didn't want the government to think I was going to see Jeannie with a message.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
I wonder if Gene has anything to do with the life. I hope he's not. I hope he just lives the rest of his life in quiet.
There's a lot of gossip about it, that he's the boss, he's this, he's that, but I don't know.
So this is Shippy again. Okay. Lewis, do you think you will ever patch up with John's family? Wow.
The only one question. I would obviously I would love to, but the only one I really miss the most is Peter, his young son. Peter and I were like brothers, like John and I were father and son. Right. Peter and I were two brothers, and I miss him. I miss him every day. Yes. I
Wow.
don't miss Junior. Some days I miss Junior, but whatever. I don't know. I
Well, you
can't
had a better
forgive.
rapport with Peter.
Yeah, and I can't forgive Junior for what a lot of the shit he pulled.
Okay. Let's
Like
see, Joe.
writing letters to his father. All kinds of letters, and it's funny because his father used to send the letters to me. I want you to see what my son, your brother, is saying about you. Yeah.
Wow.
One day if I'm twisted enough, I'll show you those letters.
Okay, good enough.
He would write to his father, and his father would send me the mail. Like, what was that all about, Joe? Joe, why would he do that?
Yeah, if he didn't write, exactly. He must have been.
He was sending me a message.
Yeah.
That was a message.
Let's read that Joe Ella one. Okay. Would you say Massino was subservient to John Gotti? That's probably for you, Lewis.
Yeah, I would say to a great extent he was. Yes, he was.
Yeah, most of the guys were. Let's face it. John, exactly.
Let's face it, Joe, and not me. Because when I say it, they'd say I'm crazy.
Right. No, I would have to say yes myself because look, John was a man's man. He's like you said, as a man myself, the things that I've done, the things I've seen, you want to be around somebody of that caliber. It only makes you
when you were in the MCC and he sent for you to cut his hair. What was going through your mind?
Everything. I wanted to. Everything. I was excited. I was proud. I was a little nervous, obviously too. I couldn't wait to shake his hand. Exactly. It was So
think
it was
about
a big
that, Joe. Thing. What you're just saying. How do you think a kid like me would feel that this guy only wanted to have dinner with me and sent for me?
That I agree with you 100%.
You know what kind of trip that was?
Well, this is why it'll affect you that way for the rest of your life.
He could have had dinner with anybody.
That's right. You'll always have that.
They were lining up to have dinner with him, Joe.
Yeah.
And Joe, when he would be sitting at the table, the seat right next to him, they all knew to leave it vacant.
Yeah. See that? That's nice, man.
Including his family. When we would go to Sunday dinners, they knew, don't sit in that chair. The Jew boy will be here soon. Don't sit in that chair.
You see, and you want to know something? When you get a recognition, it's almost like anything else. I think this is what we had touched upon about with Junior. When Dominic gave me a compliment one time, we were out, all of us together. It was Dominic, myself, it was Anthony Donato, and Anthony Aiello. And they were talking, saying some things, and I just didn't say anything. I didn't chime in. I had stories to contribute to, but for some reason, there was something in there that told me, just listen, keep your mouth shut, and that was it. And the next day, Dominic says, something, you did really good that night. He says, you kept your mouth shut, because if you would have chimed in the stuff that we were talking about, because they're ready to open the books on me and have me straightened out. So when Dominic gave me that compliment, well, I went from this tall to that tall. You know what I mean? So exactly I could only imagine when you seen that seat empty, when you walked into the restaurant, how you felt like you were walking on air.
Well, and think about it. All those captains sitting around.
Yeah.
Joe George, Joe Watts, Danny Marino.
Right.
And of course, as soon as I walk in, all the hugs and kisses and all.
Yeah.
You see, if I knew you had to go to John first to greet him. Even if
that's right.
All these other captains came hello to say hello to you, I would say hello, and I'd make a beeline right to him.
That's right. He's the guy. That's right. That's what
he's
you thought.
My guy, and I respect you guys, but I got to greet him first.
That's exactly right. And you want to know something? And I'm going to tell you about a prison story too. But Dominic said something on another show he was on. I forget the name of the guy's show. Otherwise, I'd mention it. I'm not trying to not mention it. But Vinny had told him, now you have to be loyal to the boss, to Joe. And Dominic told him, no, Vinny, I'm loyal to you. And if they ask me to kill you, we're going to kill Joe. And that's the way I felt about, And you want to know something? That's the way I felt about Dominic. I wouldn't have shot Dominic, even though Dominic would have had to kill me if he found out that I did that, back in the life, and I understood that because he was what he was, but I wouldn't have wanted to shoot Dominic either. I mean, don't get me wrong. If Dominic was coming after me because he was a scary guy,
right, I understand.
I had to, I have to defend myself to whatever I could do. But I wouldn't have I couldn't do it. I just didn't have it in me to do it. That's just me. But the same thing, like when Michael Francis was talking about these two brothers, they killed their own father. I said, if they would ever ask me to kill my father, I would have shot the guy right there on the spot because I'm not going to kill my own father.
Why do you think John hated Joe the Cat? Joe the Cat was a captain from Staten Island, a Gambino captain. More money than God. His son borrowed a couple of $100,000 from him and wouldn't pay him back. His son. He went to Paul Castellano for permission to kill his son.
John,
and Joe the Cat, by the way, he owned where the Ravenite was.
So he did. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he owned that whole building. So John despised Joe the Cat. So there's talk that Joe the Cat told him what apartment he went to because he hated him.
Now that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, Joe the Cat. Maybe he was a confidential informant. Maybe he peed in one of the agencies and says, yeah, the boss goes up to the Cirilli apartment.
Yeah, because somebody had to tell him. Nobody knew.
Nobody knew.
Well, when I was in prison, I was so there was a skipper from Staten Island, Danny Ticky, who I got close with in there. And I used to say hello to this guy. He used to push him around in a wheelchair. I think his name was Arnold. I forget exactly what it was. He was an older man. Well, he says, do you notice? He says, he wanted to talk to you. He said, you want to meet him? We'll come down into the rec area where we were, as I was in Otisville at the time. And I said, okay. I go over there, and he says to me, he says, this is the kid. He always says hello to me. He says, I knew his father. He says, you don't remember me? I says, no, I don't. My father had a place called Pippi's Deli. And he was at the time, he was with Rudy Pipolo. And Rudy was a captain in, I think it was the Lucchese family, if I'm not mistaken. But there was a tail end later on. They got the tail end of the French Connection with all the heroin then. But he says, I know. You don't remember me? You used to give me coffee because I was like 11 years old. I don't remember.
Right.
And I says, no. And so anyway, he says, how's your mother? He asked him. I said, my mother passed away. He said, how's your father? I said, he died. He goes, okay. He says, how you doing? I said, well, I'm here. I'm not doing that great. Right. So Louis, you know what he said? He said, this kid's a good kid. He says, make room for him over here. And then the wise guys that were there,
they jealous.
And they gave me a chair. And that made me feel good too. So yes. Yep.
Well, behind my back, what do you think? I don't know what they said.
Of course. Yeah. Listen, even the people that pretend to be your friends, that they're two-faced after them. That's why.
When I would go see them on my own, if I needed this or help for John, or I wanted this or that, you think they were? And I never lost sight of that. They're not responding to me. They're responding because he left orders. He speaks. Could you imagine? We had a meeting in Lino's in the city, Italian restaurant. He said to maybe 10, 15 of them, he speaks for me and don't make him ask you twice. That's crazy stuff. When I do the look back, Joe, that's crazy stuff.
I know. Well, you see, the people, Louis, don't understand how rare that is to have that in that kind of life.
Yeah.
They don't understand. Listen, anybody who's watching out there, if you have any idea, this is a bloody, treacherous.
Yeah,
I can't even describe it any more than how it is. That's why
when I used to say that, he used to say, Louis, this is the worst life in the world.
See, there you go.
Treachery at its best. Imagine this is the boss telling me this.
That's why you had a special relationship. I had a special relationship with Dominic. Dominic had a special relationship with Vinny. This is what they don't understand, and that's rare. You don't get people.
You could relate to it.
Yes,
you relate to it. A lot of people don't relate to it, and they put a negative spin on it.
Want to put up another comment? Okay, let's see what we got here. Louis, why did John Sr. call Jackie Nose a cripple? And that's by Jody.
Right. Okay. Jackie was the captain assigned to the boss. Okay. So Jackie couldn't earn, and Jackie had a lot. Jackie really didn't have a crew then. Because Jackie was 24/7 with the boss. Jackie and I were the two babysitters. But Jackie, of course, was in the life. He was a captain. So Jackie had to handle business. Me, different level. More. I wasn't whacking guys. I wasn't screaming at guys. For me, it was just emotionally and money-wise and things of that nature. And when he was off the wall, call Lewis. You know, when he was out of control, call Lewis. You know, I'll never forget. I got a call one night from Tony Muscatel. He says, "What are you doing?" I said, "What do you mean? What am I doing? It's 2:00 in the morning. What is that? Normal people are sleeping. Only you and him are not sleeping." He said, "Well, you have to come." That's when I had the top secret room in the Helmsley Palace that no one knew about. He says he's in the place. I said, "Okay, he's fine. You got to come." So I come. But that's the kind of relationship.
Nice.
When he was off the wall, and when he was cuckoo and he wanted to kill 20 guys, call Lewis.
Okay, cool. I like it. Oh, wait, hold on. We got nothing by Harry Valenti again. I'm saying it right? Okay.
Yeah, Harry Valenti.
Lewis, how often did John come by your house? Was it for business, dinner, etc.?
It was mostly for pleasure and dinner and to relax, to get away from the life and to get away from his wife. So he would come by me and, and I bring in food and he'd say, "Where you get this Italian food from? Italian people don't eat this food. Only Jews eat this food." I said, "Grandpa, this is Italian food. It's not, he used to like the sardines and the pasta. No, you're not going to find that on Long Island." And he would come until 2, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and I'd fall asleep. I was asleep, and he was talking or gambling or betting. I didn't even hear him anymore. So I used to call my brother-in-law to come over, Craig. I says, "Craig, you know all this with the Jet games and the Giant games." And so that's what he would do, and he would stay there. And so Eileen and I used to go in the guest room, and we put him into bed in the master bedroom.
Wow.
That's what it was. That's what he wanted.
Wow.
That's what made him happy, Joe. And
well, you know something? He needed
I wish I could do it again, Joe. I wish I had the opportunity to do it again.
Of course, because Lewis, he needed a release. He needed to kind of unwind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What else we got up there?
Well, he was the best. I'm telling you.
Of course he was. But everybody knows that, though. Listen, a lot of people that said that he did this to the mob and everything to the mob, most of those people are jealous anyway.
Jealous, and he was the mob.
Yeah, come on, we know that.
I wish we could just have a couple more hours so he could be with his family again and, have that opportunity.
I agree. This is by G. Shippy again. Lewis, did you have any relationships with Gambino captains from Jersey?
From Jersey. Well, Jackie knows was from Jersey, but you got to understand, I had relationships with all the Gambino guys. But,
right.
But on the periphery, you got to understand, when you're directly with a boss, it's hi, it's bye. If you need anything, you go see them. Otherwise, what did I need from them? I had the boss. I had the king's ear. You know that expression?
Exactly. Yep.
I had the king's ear 24/7. What did I need? I didn't need nothing. Because anything I requested from one of his skippers, they had to run the risk of, is this coming from the boss or is this Lewis asking? And what were they going to do? Were they going to confirm it with John?
Yeah. No, they're not. No. So we got Emmanuel. Lewis Kasman, you probably ran into John
D'Amato. Yeah.
D'Amato. Okay, of the Cavalcanti
family.
Yes. Didn't John Gotti have him in his back pocket?
He sure did. One of many.
Okay. Wow.
One of many.
Wow, you see that? That's pretty good. That was a good question.
That was just good. Jersey. How about Boston? How about Rhode Island? How about Florida? How about Chicago? All the bosses.
Well, didn't you say that? Didn't you say, Lewis? Didn't you say? Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't you say that there was guys that used to call him up from other families outside out of New York?
They would call him up, and that's when we would go to the Helmsley Palace. They used to seek his advice and his guidance. That's how respected this man was.
Mm-hmm. See that? That's what I'm trying to say. In
their mind, he took out Castellano. He's got to have a pair this big.
Yeah. But that was gangster big time. Okay. Who's this? Step again? Okay. Lewis, what was your most memorable time with John Gotti? Hi, could you really pick one?
I can't pick one. And Evan, I don't mean to sound cocky, But there were so many memorable times, from Christmas to holidays, from when my kids were sick to we could do 3 shows on that.
Yeah.
But Joe, I got stuff. I got letters, and I got the driver's license, and I got the social. I got everything, and I'm going to give it to Momo. And as we move along, we'll start to put a lot of this memorabilia up, as they say.
Okay, good. Yeah, let's do that. We'll do that too for on more future shows. You want to get a couple more questions here, Lewis?
Whatever you want to do, Joe.
Okay, so we got Marco Marino. Hey, Lewis, did you know Norman DuPont, and did John Gotti like him?
I did know Norman. Norman ran the Ravenite, and Norman is in jail doing life, and John did like him. Yes.
Oh wow, he's doing life.
He was mad at Norman when they found out the bug was upstairs, but it wasn't Norman's fault, But at that point in time, John was mad at everybody.
You can't blame him.
No, you can't blame him.
Can't blame him. Yeah. What's another one we got?
A lot of laxativity with that, Joe.
Oh, sure. Now, I can't see the guy's name. I want to make sure. Terrence?
Terrence McAndrew.
Terrence, thank you. If you frequent a restaurant that's connected, after how many visits can you ask for a favor? That's kind of a good question.
Good question. You want to respond to how your family would handle that?
Well, yeah, basically, we frequent a restaurant. It wasn't that we really had to ask for a favor. The favors pretty much came. And Louis, you probably could say that, even more because you were there with John. Pretty much everybody wanted to do stuff for John. Send him a special dish, send him a special bottle of whatever,
And Joe, I got to tell you, you're right about that. The wines, the champagnes, the food.
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
He never walked out of a restaurant, Joe, without paying the bill and giving the waiter or the valet guys crazy tip.
Tip. He threw it. Yeah, because when you're in that life, a lot of people don't realize, and Lewis can vouch for that. He just said it, opened the door for me. They always they always over tip you. They always overpay you because they knew the money was going to come fast, and it's going to go just as fast. But they wanted to show how that they kind of, a wise guy kind of gives everybody, even though they're above a civilian, but they still show that they appreciate things, and they show that, hey, look, you did the right thing by me. And it's a certain way, just like we talk about John's air, the way he came into a room, that's the way he left the room the same way.
Exactly right. And Joe, even when we didn't have a lot of money, he always tipped and always paid his way. He never wanted nothing for nothing. Whether he was making a wedding, he never said to me, "Oh, go tell the owner, tell Mrs. H, we need a bet." People were sending wine in and stuff, so there's normally a corkage fee.
Right. That's right.
All right. She would never charge us a corkage fee, but he never would. He was never like that, John. He pay as you go.
And there was a time I was at this place on Arthur Avenue. It's called Rigoloto's. The wise guy, Patsy. This guy, Patsy, owns it. And he sent us all. There was a table of us. It was about maybe 15 of us or whatever. And he sent us the Louis XV.
That's
expensive. 4 bottles of it. That's very expensive. You see, this is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, you see, this is this. And that's
and
the
how many
class.
times we'd be out, Joe? We'd be out, and the owner would get a little carried away. And John would give me the sign. I go up to the guy, slow it down.
See?
Slow it down. That was like, I would say, slow it down. He appreciates it, but you're going a little overboard.
Right. And you see, that just goes to show you the amount of class. That's class. You see, when you do, like when John talks, some, and that's why they always showed like class. But we got
but see, Joe, that's what I used to do for John. I was like, if I know, I was the advanced team. If I knew he was going somewhere, I already knew the table. Like the president has. I was his advanced team. I knew what to say, what not to say. I used to tell the restaurant people what to do and not to do. Right. He didn't like it. He didn't want it, Joe.
Right. Exactly. See, that's, he was very humble in a lot of ways too, in his own self. Now, Lewis, this is a question for you from the East Side Kid. Lewis, how did you make your money while you were with John? Excellent question.
Good question. We were in the garment center, and all legitimate businesses. And, and I had, obviously if I wasn't around, I had people that were running it, and that's how we did it. That's how John wanted it. And that's what we did. All proper, all legit. John used to get a paycheck. I would get a paycheck,
Mm-hmm.
And used to drive the government crazy, Joe.
Yeah, because you were legit. Yeah.
They would subpoena the books and records, and they would, aren't you laundering money? No. Aren't you making deposits? No.
Right. You see, back in the days, they used to have a fire for all the records because they were all paperwork back then too.
That's
and
right.
So they said, well, what do you mean? You use a fire? Yeah, it was a bad element around here. We're looking into it though. We've reported it to the police.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. What else we got up there? Okay. This is for you too, Louis Van Francisco. Louis, how well did you know Sammy Gravano? And how tough do you really think he was?
Well, like I said, I knew Gravano, and he was a tough guy, and that was the one mistake. John Gotti should have killed Sammy Gravano. And if you listen to Junior on different shows or whatever, he says the same thing. The biggest mistake that John made was making him in authority and not killing him. And he knew when he was in the MCC, that's what used to eat him up. He knew he should have killed John, and his son told him. I told him even before the arrest came down. John was killing him. Gravano was going. The problem was the arrest came down.
Yeah, otherwise then he would have never been the star witness. Yeah,
exactly. John knew he was a piece of shit. He was definitely killing him, but it wasn't to be. But Sammy didn't fool John Gotti, so don't anybody think that for 1 minute.
No, I would think it would take a lot to fool a guy like John. Yeah,
exactly.
And most of them, see guys as sharp as John, or like my friend Dominic, or some other people in that life, they have to do it a different way because you're not going to just walk up to these people and you have to try to get close to him, try to win his trust because you're not going to fool.
And
these
John
guys.
knew. Even though I would tell him and his son would tell him and others would tell him, John was the kind of guy he wanted to see for himself.
Yeah, this way he right. He didn't have to look back ever that he made it. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Let's do one more question. What do you think? Okay, Angela got. This is Angela. Angela, this. Angel Gotti. Angel,
it's not really her though, probably.
Oh no. Okay. My question is for Louis. Why is he such a low life weasel? Okay, it's probably not really her, Angela.
No, it's not. And you know what? I'll respond to that in this way. Weasel, rat. That's on you. Walk in my shoes after John wasn't around and after everything that went on. And how his son betrayed me. I was getting the letters he was writing to his father. His father sent them to me because he wanted me to know.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, why would he send them to me, Joe?
Exactly. He must have wanted you to know for some reason.
And one letter he sent to Pete Gotti. And Pete says, come here, I want to show you, because Pete couldn't really read. Pete was a little illiterate. He says, I want to show you the letter your brother wrote to his father about you and me. Yeah.
Wow.
That's right. That's why I could never forgive Junior. And I was his best friend. That's a show we could do in itself, what I did for him.
We're going to do more of that show. We're also going to do more stuff that you're going to bring whenever you want.
Yeah.
But now we're going to I guess we could end it now too, because I didn't even eat dinner. I'm starving,
Me too.
But anybody that's out there that I didn't get to any questions, I apologize. But it was good to see Dominic and Louis finally get to meet. That was a big surprise.
And
Louis,
Joe, I got to tell you, I got a different opinion of Dominic now. Okay, so for all the people that are going to say something, I stand corrected. How's that?
Thank you, Louis. Thank you, Louis. Yeah, I appreciate that. You know why I was so close. That's why I'm so. Okay.
I got a different opinion of him.
Thank you.
That's why you can't listen to other people, Joe. You see?
That's why John didn't want to listen. He wanted to know himself too. See,
take
it right there. Louis, thank you again for coming on. Okay. Let's try to get something next week too, okay? If that's all right.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
What happened? Okay, yeah. So maybe next week, let's do this then. Let's do next week at 7:30. I was just
Sounds
talking to
good. I look
my
forward to
partner
it.
here.
All right.
So let's
All
do
right,
next week.
Momo.
And then hopefully, guys, get your questions, get your whatever you want to do, and we'll definitely show it. Lewis, thanks again to everybody out there. Javon, I'll call you when I get home. Love you guys. Appreciate everything.
Hey, Javon, I can't wait to meet you.